Hi from me, Romy Stoch, and welcome back to another episode of Derech Eretz. In order to achieve mental, physical, and spiritual health, one needs to balance and connect the mind, body, and spirit as one unified life unit. Medications, procedures, and surgeries are necessary to heal diseases of the physical body, but what are the therapies needed to heal the mind and the soul? Dr. Jonathan Mach elaborates further.
About 42 years ago, almost to the month, I began my journey into the world of medicine. My late father, Dr. Norman Mach, was a general practitioner for 58 years. So perhaps even I was born into a medical family, and that was my destiny. But in these 42 years, I am confused somewhat about what medicine really is. Is medicine when something goes wrong in the body or the mind and needs some kind of cure? Or is medicine preventative, that the doctors should really be all about preventing tooth decay or heart disease or car accidents? Most of medicine is about treatment. And we have advanced incredibly and powerfully, and people's lives are saved on a daily basis because of medicine. The Jewish people have been involved in medical cures for thousands of years. Many Nobel Prize winners in medicine are Jewish. The Rishonim, those are the wise men of 1,000 years ago, Rambam, Ramban, all of them had their fingers, as it were, in some kind of naturalist, herbalist kind of approach to medicine. Medicine has always been regarded as one of the highest levels of profession, because when you save someone, even for a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, you're actually saving the world. That is a deeply spiritual idea embedded in the Torah. Also in the Torah there is this whole thing of metzora, which is a form of leprosy, psoriasis, that occurs when somebody sins, and there's all kinds of ways of cleansing that. Medicine is more than just operations and taking tablets. It's what you eat. In fact, I would argue that the best medicine, if medicine's about the prevention of illness, is the food we eat. And unfortunately, today, Jews do not, as a whole, take their food seriously. It is predominantly sugar-based and sweet-based. However, it seems to be that by the removal of sugary foods from one's diet, pasta, beer, bread, sweets, chocolates, and a healthy dose of proteins such as chicken, fish, meat, beef, plus a lot of vegetables and avocados and all those good stuff, that could prevent much illness. Our medical system is overloaded now by diseases of lifestyle. And it's up to us to take responsibility, to listen to the soft, still sounds amongst all the noise about healthcare, to take charge of our own lives and achieve optimal health. Because health is wealth. I have witnessed people who are the brightest of the bright, the richest of the rich, suffering from illnesses that they cannot reverse, and those illnesses were due to lifestyle. I once met a very wise man, 25 years or so ago, and he was lying dying in an intensive care unit at the hospital I worked at. And he called me over and he said the following to me: in my early years, I used my health to gain my wealth. and I'm a wealthy man materially. But no matter what I do, I cannot, with all that wealth, regain my health. So health is a major asset. Your body can cure yourself of many illnesses. Your lifestyle can prevent medicine. And thank goodness today we have highly skilled doctors and health systems. We have computers. We have a lot of technology that can prolong life and give life meaning. But you must take responsibility for your own health by modifying your lifestyle, understanding, gaining knowledge on what the best practices are.
Derech Eretz. Derech Eretz.
The Smile Foundation is a non-profit organization that, together with the country's academic hospitals, highly skilled doctors and tenacious nurses, literally puts smiles on the faces of hundreds of children around the country on an annual basis. Derech Eretz joined this remarkable group of people at the Red Cross War Memorial Children's Hospital in Cape Town.
People always say, well, what part does Smile make in the world of a hospital such as a Red Cross? A small part. Because the big parts are being done by the hospital. The huge parts are being done by the surgeons. So we as the Smile Foundation want to note and pay tribute to the heroes. The heroes are there, not here.
I'm as emotional as everyone else, but I think more than that, I'm humbled. I'm humbled by the passion I saw this morning. I'm humbled by the commitment. I'm humbled by the energy. I'm humbled by the gratitude. And going around the ward this morning, it just took my breath away. And as we walked through the wards this morning, we could see that what the Smile Week does, what the Red Cross does, is you transform lives. And what we're hoping for is that they will contribute to society, that they'll be active participants in society.
The Smile Foundation is a non-profit organisation that started over 18.5 years ago. The organisation supports the Department of Health, local departments, as well as 11 academic hospitals to support children with the likes of cleft lip and palate, nose and ear reconstructive surgical interventions, burns reconstructive surgeries, just to name a few. The organisation really works in a multidisciplined approach, and for us it's about complementing the real heroes. And those heroes is not me, is not even our team, to tell you the truth. It's the surgeons, it's the nurses. I've never done a surgery and I never intend to do a surgery. For us, it's really around supporting patients, supporting the departments, being able to help those children through a journey of smoothness, smiles, but most importantly, things that generally we don't think of. So for instance, that starting off transport, accommodation is sometimes overlooked, but they can be big barriers. Moving on, it's about clinical psychologists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, if necessary, and if required by the hospital environment. And these are just some of the things to just smoothen the realms. And then obviously post-surgery, it's clinic visits as well as, once again, the allied therapeutic benefits that come together in order to help these children.
We've had the pleasure of working with the Smile Foundation for the last 10 years. We're very privileged in this hospital that was opened in 1956 to have the first cleft lip and palate unit started in 1958. And so we're used to having a multidisciplinary team working with children who have cleft lips and palates. It does take a multidisciplinary team approach to help these children. And so when the Smile Foundation approached us in around 2008, it was a great partnership.
Most of these children, some of them, either they are deformed facially that they can't even literally smile, but also even after that intervention, then you find that they will smile literally, but they would also be smiling within their hearts. So for us, this week is a very important week, and we want to make the public aware of the good work That's done at the institution like this one, the Red Cross War Memorial Children's Hospital.
They have the same kind of holistic patient approach that we have, and I think a lot of what they do is to go around supporting the patient and the family, because it does take many years to manage a child with a cleft lip and palate surgical problem.
The way Smile works is originally it was all about the Smile Week, and basically the week was one in each hospital that we support, and you would have psychologists, speech therapies, you would have the surgical interventions, and you'd have that true multidisciplined approach. What's actually evolved is that then it became the Smile Week plus all the auxiliary services all year round. And Smile's actually become an organization that's supporting surgeries all year, various times of the year for various hospitals. So in some hospitals it's on a weekly basis, some hospitals it's on a monthly basis, and some hospitals it's only the Smile Week.
So the hospital has quite a strong surgical component, and so we are doing these surgeries all the time. What we needed Smile to help us with is to augment what we're doing already, to help add in where we can't get to everything. When we started 10 years ago, the focus was purely on children with cleft lip and palates, but we've kind of evolved over the years as that program really strengthened, and we found we didn't need so much help just with that. We moved on to other things, so reconstructive surgery, children with congenital hand problems. And then now, in the recent years, we've been focusing on children who have major injuries due to burns.
Most of us who do medicine, there is some sort of desire and need to help others. So to have the opportunity to better the life of someone else, especially in the setting of children who, more often than not, are helpless victims when it comes to burns. With sometimes it's silly accidents of children playing with fire, but for the most part of it, burn injuries in children they're innocent bystanders, and it just happened to be the wrong place, the wrong time, through no fault of their own. So being able to help them integrate better into society and to have a better chance of leading normal lives, it's obviously a privilege.
About 2 years ago, the Smile Foundation facilitated the donation of 2 laser machines, and these machines enable our clinicians to treat this terrible scarring that the children are left with after a burn. I think when a child, or an adult for that matter, has experienced significant burns, it has a huge social impact, and they tend to shy away from the community. They be shunned by the community in some areas, and so if we can do our little bit to do some reconstruction with the laser therapy, just to improve their outlook on life and to try and get them to be reintegrated in the community, that's a great thing. I think at the end of the day, what we're trying to do and what the Smile Foundation is trying to do is to improve the quality of lives of children. So it's not purely the surgical, the medical problem, but how does the whole child's quality of life look for the next few years?
There's so many cogs in the wheel that make something like this a reality. So thank you all for investing your energy. And then we would like to say a special word of thanks to the Smile Foundation for your unwavering support. In my meetings with them, a zest for their projects. I think they truly are an example in the NGO world. We appreciate how you pursue opportunities, specifically to capacitate, coming alongside public health care to lift our hands up high. But Smile is not coming from a place of superiority, but from a place of building capacity and seeing where the need is and empowering public service to be the best it can be.
For the Smile Foundation, I think that the Derech Eretz is about that pure desire that started right 18 and a half years ago from both Mark Lubner and Nelson Mandela, who just wanted to help. Today, the Derech Eretz is about uniting South Africans to help children. Derech Eretz, the concept, is not about just doing it yourself. It's about empowering others. So even if we're empowering mothers to transport their own, it's about creating that light and flame that will create an environment a happier environment for them and their communities.
Mandy Meyerson uses food as a tool to shift consciousness. She believes in an integrated approach to life and living, that we are all an integral part of the web of life, and what we do and how we live in the world does matter. Human waking is an integration of spirit, heart, body, and mind.
When we look at the imbalances in our world in which we live, that is a direct reflection of the imbalances within ourselves. And so the healing and the change is never going to happen as effectively outside of us as it can within ourselves as individuals. And if each and every one of us steps into who we are and who we're meant to be, that's all we need to do. We're not meant to fix the whole world. We can't. I mean, it's not within our power to change industry and climate change, but we can start to make changes within our own life. And as we do that, and as I've done that in my own life, I've seen such incredible outpourings of support, essentially. So as I've trusted my journey, I've stepped into really trusting that I want to become a contributor towards positive change in one way or form. We start by empowering ourselves the moment we put food in our shopping trolleys. That's where it begins. And what you put in your shopping trolley is what you put in your cupboards and your fridges and what you feed yourself and your family. So you can begin every single time you're doing that shop. How am I shopping? What am I purchasing? Start to read labels and to see that if there isn't a certain high enough range of nutrients in a particular product that appears to be healthy, then it cannot be listed on the nutritionals at the back of the label. And that's been very interesting to learn. So although you might be seeing ingredients that are listed because they are the ingredients, they're at such a small proportion that they're not actually impactful. So this is where we start to take charge of where we're spending our money and what we're spending our money. And that's where we can start to also support producers of locally produced foods, organic foods. And that's where we do actually have a lot more power than we realize, because we are very powerful as the consumer. There's lots of inspiration on the internet in terms of recipes. And my encouragement is really just play. You know, one gets so caught up in, oh, what am I going to do and how am I going to do that? But if you can get your kitchen set up where you have your staple foods, your grains and your pulses, and your fresh food, you create a list and you start to plan. And that's something that we all struggle with because that's not always a priority for most people. So again, it just really comes back to starting to make choices and taking responsibility of your health. And the results are so immediate. That's what's so exciting about eating good quality food. You feel it straight away. And then gradually start to wean out things that really you know aren't good. And when you find your cupboards only have the good quality stuff in them, then you'll start to find that you actually will only eat what you have. Making all our superfoods visible has been enormously helpful because it creates inspiration. So when I wake up in the morning and we're thinking, what are we going to have? Smoothies are one of the easiest things to make sure that my family and myself are getting everything we need to start the day. And so we just put fun labels, but I've definitely learned that keeping things visible helps motivate and inspire you to make the right choices, and also to get you always playing with your different options. So we always play making different smoothies. We work with what we've got each morning, and always keeping frozen fruit in the freezer so that we've got that to add to our smoothies. On this journey that kept drawing me back to food, I saw human waking, and I have continued to see human waking as a movement. And so I've started doing workshops and bringing people into our kitchen, doing workshops, showing them how. Because I think where there is a lot of overwhelm, it can be immediately removed by just seeing how simple a lot of these things really are. And so alongside the workshops that I'm progressively doing more, I kept being drawn back to what else can I bring in, and wanting to have a healthy snack for my family and for my kids. And so I developed a snack, and this is a few years ago actually, and thought it was terrific, went to a factory. They said that they loved it and they would very happily help me produce this product. But an hour and a half later, I left the factory and I said, who needs more snacks? Who needs more waste? Who needs more packaging? And basically shelved this project for a couple of years. And one day I was driving in my car and had, for want of a better word, a download. It was a complete and total inspiration. I'd been continuing dabbling in the kitchen, but I had shelved this for all intents and purposes. And I just was like, wow, this is it. I came home and for the first time, I took a book and a pen and I wrote the recipe down as I made what is now called the Awake Superfood Snacks. And it was one of those aha moments. It was like, oh, this is what it is to be human. So the Awake Snacks was really the opportunity to bring something into the world that was healthy, nutrient-dense, and also has been a journey around the other side of it. Not only what we're putting in, but what do we put back into our environment? So I've worked with this product in trying to bring something without any plastic. They are packaged in glass and paper, but it's actually been a journey for me in learning where does the food come from in terms of the base ingredients all the way through the production, the manufacturing, the packaging, and then back and then out to the consumer. So for us, gardening has been such an amazing way to ground ourselves and to connect not only with the earth itself, but with ourselves. And so for us, it's been an incredible thing about seeing a seed. You see the seed and it's tiny, the size of a grain of sand. And given the right conditions, the right watering, sun, being nurtured correctly, we get to have food. And that nurtures our bodies. And we're seeing our relationship in this connection to the whole. Derech Eretz is about self-love. Because when you can truly love yourself, can you then love everything outside of yourself? And that's where we've got to start. We've got to start to really connect back to who we are, all of who we are, and to be able to live and see ourselves with gratitude. And we can begin slowly and we can begin gently. But at the end, I feel that it is with love that we can then be the best versions of ourselves.
Jewish philosopher and physician Maimonides said, "A person should aim to maintain physical health and vigor in order that their soul may be upright in a condition to know God." We would love you to be part of the conversation, so share your views and stories on our Facebook page at Derech Eretz Connect. From me, Romy Stoch, and the Derech Eretz team, remember, the greatest gift you can give your family is a healthy you.